them a shot to do what?
I mean, outside of the facial droop and the glass eye, she's a really good girl. On this episode, we are recapping the Eagles and Packers and the lessons we learned from that boring, awful, terrible game on Monday night. Bert's New York Giants finally did something right and fired their head coach. My Buffalo Bills losing to Corey's Dolphins, and I'm really upset about it. So we have to ask the question, are they officially in trouble? And fair or foul, is this the year that a running back actually wins the MVP award? We'll answer all that and more next. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. I am the Facebook felon Jerm. That is the prettier Corey Bert. And we are presented by the Give Us a Shot Network, powered by Fast Break Coffee, and sponsored, as always, Bert, by the Haitians. Shout out to y'all. First timers, last timers, long timers. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you can't do any of those things, I'm going to assume you're a hater. And I hope your check bounces. What's up, Bert? How you doing today?
Dude, I'm exhausted. I cannot wait for the weekend. Thank you for holding on the fort last week while I was off, spending some time with my family in lovely Orlando, Florida. And on my way back, I was one of the many individuals who had their flights canceled. So we made the sporadic decision, since we weren't going to get another flight for another couple of days because everything was booked up, to say, fuck it, rent a car, drive home. 9 p.m. on a Sunday night, to just drive until you're tired enough to, or, starting to feel like you're falling asleep, get a hotel room, which is what we did, slept for 5 hours, got back on the road shortly thereafter, and finally got back Monday. But since then, it's just been like you're already in it. There's no rest and recovery day. You're there Monday. You've already missed a day of work. Now it's to the grind Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm like, 2 more days to grind it out. Give me Saturday for myself and hopefully Sunday, but no, it's never that easy, man, and we're getting into holiday season. So there's some halls that need to be decked in my house.
Yeah. So that sounds terrible. But not
awful.
The Disney part.
Yeah.
The Disney part is cool, but the
driving, it was a vacation, but ending with that, when you think that there's going to be a simple 2.5 hour plane ride to maybe get a quick nap in. Yeah. The daughter has the screen next to me, an iPad, or like the screen and the headrests, and the my son the same thing, and everybody's just doing their own thing. So you think, all right, 2.5 hours, a little bit of recovery action after a very busy week, just to be sitting around an airport for, we were delayed a solid. We were supposed to leave at 1:16. We kept getting delayed. They finally called us 4:30. They said we were delayed until 11 p.m. So I was like, all right, guess we're hanging out here for a full 10 hours before we're supposed to leave, even though we got to the airport at 11 a.m. And by 9 p.m. is when they finally told us it was canceled. It's like, yo, if you knew, and I understand they're doing their best. They're trying to get planes in and out. There's still a glimmer of hope. But I'm like, I'd almost rather they call it at 4 so I can just make a decision and be gone with it instead of waiting around an airport for the better part of 9-10 hours before, okay, let's see if there's a rental car and then we can drive home.
Also, huge violation on you. There is no hanging up decorations for Christmas before Thanksgiving. That's crazy.
Oh, 100%. I don't decorate the tree, but I will start decking halls. Yeah.
Man, my mother-in-law has been staying with us. She wants to save a little money, and she wants to get a new car, but it's hard to save up and put a down payment on a car when you're also paying like $2,000 in rent. So I said, nah, sure. Stay with us for a few months until January. And, I didn't put a time that she's leaving, and she put the time limit that she's leaving in January, but she wants to get a car and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to is it cool if I put some few things in the garage? I said, of course, plenty of room. A bunch of green and red boxes started showing up, like 8 of them. And I said, excuse me, what is that? Shoes? She said, no, those are Christmas decorations. I said, no.
Yes,
I said, well, they're going to stay in the garage in this house. They're Christmas. We don't skip holidays, especially not the commercial fraudulent holiday that Christmas now is. This isn't the Christmas of yesteryear. Okay, this isn't the Griswolds have been through enough. This isn't one of those. Okay, I'm telling you. All right, we don't skip Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving, Christmas it out. But that is blasphemy in my house. I hate Christmas. I'm a Grinch. I'll say it.
Jerm, I used to be like that. I used to say, no, we respect the bird. And then after a while, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? Like, there are people that are decorating the day after Halloween. Like, I do want a little bit more Christmas time. We celebrate Christmas in our household. I was like, I want a little bit more of that. Thanksgiving, I think, has been brushed over because of what it's turned into. It's like, all right, everybody eat when you can and go from there. It should just be National Eat and Watch Football Day, and of course, a day of giving thanks too. But nah, man, this will be like, I think, the third year where I've kind of just said, you know what, fuck it, let's just go for it and decorate. Even to the point now where my wife's like, don't you think it's a little too early? And she loves decorating for Christmas too, and I'm just like, absolutely not. Like, we're doing this.
Yeah, put it on the poll. Should you be decorating Christmas the day after Halloween? I gotta imagine I would like to answer to that question, because that's I get physically sick when I go into like the stores like Walmart and there's this Christmas shit. Like,
dude, a week before Halloween, I walked to Home Depot and needed something, so I walked in expecting to see, and of course they had their Halloween decorations on clearance because it was winding down. But I was shocked to see the entire Christmas, like where they usually have the display, completely built out. And this is like on the 20th or the 21st. I was like, this is insane.
Brutal. Let's get to Bucket of Doom. Last week we had a couple losses. Bert, Bucks lost. You're 5-5. Corey picked up a win, automatic win with the Titans. He's now 5-5. Dwayne Marcus lost, so he is 6-4. I won with the Chargers, 8-2. Carl picked up a dub, and he's now 5-5. Mike had the Eagles at 7-3 now. And Ty lost with the Giants. He is now 5-5. So let's shake our bucket of doom. Bert, the Washington racial slurs without. I think they're playing in Madrid without Jaden Daniels. So. Corey, the Buffalo Bills against the Bucks. Wayne Marcus, who sacrificed all his throwbacks until Thanksgiving, with the Geno Smith Raiders.
Who did Corey have again?
The Bills.
Okay.
I have the Detroit Lions. Carl, the Indianapolis Colts.
It's a bye week for them.
Ooh, automatic win for Carl. Nice. Mike, the Denver Broncos. And Ty, the Cincinnati Bengals. Who Joe Burrow said he's going to try to play in Thanksgiving, which is nuts.
Yeah, he's not playing. There's no way. Yeah, I'm throwing mine back. I'm not sticking with the Commanders at all. No.
So let's put the Commanders back. Give it a good shuffle, because I do not want my boy to pick up the Commanders again. New team, the Philadelphia Eagles. What a good throwback for you.
Nice.
It's better than the Commanders. I know. As a Giants fan, I know you're hurt, but as a Bucket of Doom participant, I got to imagine that's better for you. All right, let's get into it. Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, what a segue. Monday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles, a terrible game.
Snooze fest is what it was.
Snooze fest. Only reason I stayed up and watched it, shout out to JV on the JV show. He asked me to do an Eagles post game. He's also a Bills fan, so we did a little Bills stuff on top of that. But I had to stay up and watch so I could have something to talk about on his show to not look like an idiot. And it was a terrible game. So Bert, I'll just go ahead and ask you, what did we learn from that game? Did we learn more about the Eagles or the Packers? Or overall, what did we learn?
It was hard for me to. I think we probably learned more about the Packers than anything else, in their inability to really get Jordan Love throwing. and this has kind of been consistent week over week too. I think overall it was just, I mean, you can chalk it up to having just one defensive game, which seems kind of on par for a game like this too, right? Two heavy hitters in the NFC. We were expecting this, but I think what gets me the most is Philly's on again, off again, explosive offense. One week they are, a game like it is on Monday night, where although making plays, coming together, just not as they're not putting as many points on the board. It's not as explosive. Then they have a game like they had, what was it, 2 weeks ago against the Giants, when it was just nonstop. Now, obviously, opponent is everything. The Giants terrible. But it's also the same Giant team that kind of routed them a couple of weeks before that. I think it's just the inconsistency for me overall. But I mean, with that being said, I don't know if any fan base is perfectly happy with the performance that their team had on Monday night. And I don't know what you can point to and say like, oh, that was, it was because of this or it was because of that. I mean, when you look at overall, I mean, honestly, not much action, not much third down conversion, not much fourth down conversion. It was just truly an abysmal game. It should have been a barn burner in my eyes. So I think it was just kind of a letdown from a fan standpoint.
Yeah. Before I go, Mike wants to throw back the Broncos.
Okay. But they're 8-2.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who they're playing, but he doesn't feel good about it.
They're playing the Chiefs.
And he picked up the Chiefs.
And he picked up the Chiefs. Yeah.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, there's a lot of fraudulence, or from what I hear about the Broncos. But hey, picking up the Chiefs, it's never a bad time if you upgrade to the Chiefs. If you're going to upgrade, the Chiefs are probably the team you want to upgrade to.
Yeah.
If you think I'm going to sit here and yell, "Wow, the Eagles, straight powerhouse now," because they won, we're going to be surprised together, because I'm not doing it. Like, you Eagles fans. Jalen Hurts is good, okay? I said it. Fine. He's a good NFL
Wow. Okay.
But that's not anything different than what I've already said. The issue was they think he's elite. And what I saw from the game is that both teams, the Packers or the Eagles, didn't really trust their quarterback. Outside of that one bomb to Devonta Smith, that was kind of like one of those fuck it balls. Like, I'm just going to throw it. Like, I got one-on-one. Hopefully Devonta, who's talented enough to make that play, can do it. But this relentless pole jocking over every little thing that Jalen Hurts does, it's too much. Are they winning games because he's ascending to the MVP level? Or are they winning because they're a collection of just extremely talented, overdrafted guys who out-talent the other guys? It's probably that. It's probably just a collection of the team, because Howie Roseman is excellent at his job. And that's cool. So what did we learn? We learned the Eagles are going to continue to be annoying and win games without blowing anyone away. And everyone's going to freak out because their record, while conveniently ignoring all the messy parts. Like A.J. Brown literally not liking Jalen Hurts at all. We're just going to ignore everything Jalen Brown does. And then we learned that the Packers aren't a serious NFC contender, not like we thought. They still have an elite defense, but honestly, they can't get out of their own way. To me, that's it. It's nothing sexy, just the straight truth. There's really nothing else we learned about those two teams that that we already didn't know. But yeah, I just, like, Eagles fans took this crazy victory lap because they squeaked out a game against the Packers when Jordan Love is one of those hot and cold guys. I guess the only thing we learned is that the Packers offense is probably going to hold them back in the playoffs. You can't have games like that against good defenses in the playoffs. So that's kind of it for me.
I mean, that's one of the biggest selling things too, is like, is this a matchup we can see again in the playoffs, and is it going to bring the same energy? Because if it is, I mean, that's not going to be a fun one to watch by any means.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to. That's the game you hitch your wagon to. Like, if you're the NFL, you don't want to see that again. So hopefully they somehow avoid each other when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. Switching to the AFC side of things, we have the Colts, we have the Broncos, we have the Patriots. Yeah. All at 8-2.
Yep.
Exactly where we thought they'd be preseason, Bert. It's just everybody leading the division. Right? So,
I mean, not one of them did I have. If you, at the beginning of the season, if you had said which one of these teams who's going to be 8-2, I could not confidently tell you it was going to be the Colts. I could not confidently tell you it was going to be the Pats. So I think by default I'd have to go with the Broncos. But
Yeah.
even then, I will say out of those three, you led into it before. They are the most fraudulent of all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I think
Because that's the
that's
question. Like,
something.
which one is the pretender? Which one's the fraud? Like, who's not going to be leading the division when it comes to playoff time?
I mean, we know we're ruling Indy out of that conversation immediately. We
Yeah.
know that they are an absolute powerhouse, and what Jonathan Taylor did this past weekend is just unbelievable and making fantasy owners like myself very thankful we drafted him quite high. Um, the Pats, honestly, strike while it's hot, right? You have a really good young quarterback. Things are gelling there. You're also in a division that, sorry, Jerm, looks horrible right now.
Yeah.
And you can say that the Bills should be the clear favorite 100%. That's obviously not the case. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But, look, with the Dolphins as well as the Jets down and out like they usually are, it's theirs for the taking. So, and when looking at the Broncos, and I'm putting my dislike for Sean Payton aside here, they are the most fraudulent team. 8 wins, but when you look at the 7 and 8 teams that they've beat, I think the most, I mean, you can say Houston, I think, is a 4-win season. Everybody else, 3-2. They're just not good football teams in the end. I mean, you look at the wins against the Jets, the Giants. That game should have been a Giants win,
Yeah.
100%. And one of 4 or 5 collapses that we have had now in the second half is what led to that demise, and all due to coaching mistakes, which led to Brian Daboll's firing this past weekend too. But like I'm looking at it, I will give them the Eagles win because they are a tough team. But again, as I said before, inconsistent, so finicky and up and down. But let's take a look back at it. They uh, beat the Titans, no surprise there. Then took losses from the Colts, Chargers, beat the Bengals, shocking. And again, beat the Eagles after that. But then when you look, Jets, Giants, Cowboys, who has an atrocious defense, who's honestly, having opposing teams put 30, 40 plus week in and week out. Then they go on and the close game against the Texans in the last, say, 4 out of the last 5 games they have won by a field goal. And that's it. That's against the Giants, the Jets, the Texans, and the Raiders. All not great football teams. The week they put up 44 was against the Cowboys, and we know they have an atrocious secondary. They're just not a good defense at all. So I have to point to them and say, come playoff time, I would be the least surprised if they're the ones that drop down into a wild card spot if that's what happened. And look, they've got to play the Chiefs twice. They play the Packers. They play the Chargers again. They do go against the Commanders, the Raiders again too. But even the Jags game on December 21st, I have to figure that's going to be a tough one for them to squeeze out too. So, I mean, looking ahead, I see maybe 1 or 2 more winnable games. But I mean, shit, you can end the season, 10-6? It's still not bad.
Yeah. The hater in me wanted to say the Patriots.
100%.
The issue is, and if I'm thinking about this, if I'm taking my Bills hat off and I'm being realistic about it, do we really think the Patriots are better than the Bills? Like, if we want to talk about teams and quality wins, the Patriots, yes, they beat the Bills in a slump, but like the rest of the record isn't all that great, right? Like, yes, they're winning these games and they're the flavor of the month. Drake Maye is amazing, but
Yeah.
like Drake Maye and this Patriots team has been around for a cup of coffee. I'm going to trust Josh Allen to figure it out. Like they're 6-3. Like we're acting like the Bills are about to miss the playoffs. They're 6-3. Yes, the Patriots have 8 wins, but so we just talked about the Broncos being fraudulent because they have 1 quality win. Bad games happen, and I'm going to trust that Josh Allen and that team is going to figure it out. I like the Broncos. I think they're going to hold on to that lead. I do. Like I know the stretch at the end because there's going to be a lot of like compacted divisional games going in there. But like I think the Patriots, because of the math of the AFC, the Patriots if they don't win the division, I think they could slide out of the wild card spot and miss the playoffs entirely. It could be one of those because of math. Like it's so. Listen, the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs are going to fight. Do you think all 3 AFC West teams in the playoffs? That's feasible to me. Like those are all really good teams. So the Patriots have
but when you look ahead, I mean, look, the Pats have 2 really key wins so far in the schedule. One of them came against your Buffalo Bills, and the other one was this past weekend against the Bucs. So for me, if I'm looking ahead at their schedule, they have the Jets, Bengals, Giants. Their only real threat, because they play the Jets twice, the Fish once. It's really, they're gonna have a tough, looks like week 12 and 13 or 13 and 14. They go against the Bills and then the Ravens back to back. Other than that, I see them beating the Dolphins, beating the Jets, beating the Giants, beating the Bengals, and I think they're going to destroy the Jets this upcoming weekend too. I could absolutely be wrong on that. Obviously, we've seen weirder things happen, like the Dolphins beating your Bills this past weekend, not even making it close. I'm not talking beating them. I'm talking abusing them.
Yeah.
The Bills were abused this past weekend. You knew it. You knew it the moment the whistle started. Something was off. You felt it in your bones. So listen, if I'm a Bills fan right now, I'm looking at the Pats going, they're taking it from us. Like this was supposed to be, again, our year. And here we are. Here's how we find ourselves once again.
They took it from us, Carmine. They stole it from us.
Yeah. Abused.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Since we're talking shit about me and making me feel bad, let me make you feel bad. New York Giants fired your head coach. It's over. You lost Scadaboo. You lost Neighbors. You lost Dart. And now Brian Daboll is now gone, Bert. Like, what the hell is going on in New York? Are you shocked that they let him go? Are you more shocked that Joe Shine is still there? Like, what's going on with the New York Giants and Brian Daboll?
Yeah, I think I'm not shocked. I am shocked they let them go this early. I thought he was going to at least finish the season. At least giving the grace that you lose your number 1 receiver in Neighbors, you lose Scadaboo was having phenomenal season, and then now very recently you lost your all-star rookie quarterback who was really, really coming into his own. But I think that added to one of the reasons that he was fired is that he didn't do a good job in protecting his young talent and particularly his quarterback. And there was a moment where, he really liked to lean into an aggressive nature that is the quarterback. But we have to make sure that we're making the right decision and we are coaching them appropriately so they have a longer development and they can stay with the organization longer too and grow. I mean, you look at the likes of like a Rodgers, a Brady, a Manning, or Eli or Peyton too. I mean, Eli got ragdolled a couple times in his career, still ended up with 2 rings. But the quarterbacks I'm listening aren't the ones that are as aggressive in taking the hits. And we've seen it happen. I mean, Jalen Daniels very recently, the likes of RG3, the ones that are more aggressive in their play are usually the ones that you don't have a long shelf life. So we have to get back into that mindset that we should be protecting our quarterbacks. Going back to it, I'm not surprised he was fired. I am surprised they did it now. I would have thought for sure, even with the injuries, they would have allowed a little bit of leniency and said, you know what, finish out the year. We know you're gone and parting ways. For them to release Daboll truly just goes to show, and as many of we fans have seen, is we couldn't trust his coaching. His own staff didn't trust his coaching. His poor game management, his decisions. I mean, there were 4 games on the season so far that we should have won and lost because of those decisions in itself. And it's really maddening. He got, there was a lot of hype about him when he first came in, obviously working in Buffalo and with Josh Allen. And then, you lead us off to a 9-7 first year in, win a playoff game. We're looking good. And then it's really been all downhill from there. Daniel Jones's injuries, Saquon walking, just non-winning season after non-winning season. And I think when Joe Shine was able to get some sort of semblance of a deep quarterback roster, and we're starting the guy we drafted last year, if you still can't produce offense and get your guys going, then something's wrong. So it was just And you factor in the New York market too. We want to know, like, what are you doing for us now? We can't wait. We're used to the success. We want to see it. Otherwise, you're gone, plain and simple. So this honestly makes sense to me. It should have happened a couple of weeks ago, and in that case, I would have said clear house. But apparently, they feel as though that Joe Shine put together a phenomenal roster. So they still have faith in him, unless they are just waiting until the season's end, which I kind of think might happen. But they might be able to keep him around and say, well, it was injuries that kind of led to this. But they're making this purely a coaching decision because of the winnable games that they dropped within the past 4 weeks alone.
You ain't lying. What the hell is going on with New York? That's my homegirl, Danielle. Check her out on her podcast, Balcony Behavior. She is a New York native, lives in Florida, and she's super dope. And I like her a lot. So check her out. Yeah. Listen, I'm not here to dump on the guy. He won Coach of the Year in 2022, right? His first season.
Yeah.
He takes a roster that looked like it was pieced together from a fantasy football waiver wire. Trust me, I know. But here's the thing. He deserves credit for all that. With Daniel Jones, he brought them to the playoffs, and it was funny. They were playing with house money, I guess, but I guess that quick microwave success kind of pushed a timeline up on him that I felt like was unfair. That's just my kind of take on that. Like, I felt like he was the hot coordinator coming in. We knew usually it takes a little while, but he had, I would say, immediate success, right? A Giants team that was kind of floundering for years, and they make the playoffs with Daniel Jones, and you know what I mean? Like, so I think for a lot of people, that moved a timeline up, which is unfair to him. The Giants historically are allergic to competence, Bert. I'm sorry. So we
know.
So getting to the playoffs in the first year is like finding a $20 bill in your pocket that you haven't seen. You know what I mean? So like, I can get why the fans got upset, because they talked themselves into something that wasn't really there. And again, how fair is that to Brian Daboll? He's made plenty of mistakes on his own, but that has to be part of that particular equation. The blown leads, can't really speak to it. They are the kings of the fourth quarter collapse all season. Like losing an 18-point lead with 6 minutes left to the Broncos. That was coaching.
Painful.
Has nothing to do with talent. That's bad. That's just straight up bad coaching.
I mean, even the loss this past weekend, myself having to watch it while in an airport, like just crying at the fact that it's such a winnable game, and to have it lost in the manner that it has was just awful. So
here's the most interesting part of it for me is keeping Joe Shine, the GM. You fire the coach, you keep the GM. It's a little unusual, no? Like because now the new coach is going to be expected to answer to Joe, who clearly has proven he can't do the job. So
I mean, it's on Hard Knocks. So I mean, you let Saquon walk, and then you don't draft Jaden Daniels, and you're like, what's happening here? That is the unusual piece, which is why I know a lot of the fan base is like, by season end, he'll be gone. I think, firing Daboll now was obviously just a decision from ownership and, the fans wanting to see it happen. Not that they have to answer to us, but like, dude, if we're going through this every single week, it's fucking painful. And something has to happen, right? Like if I'm not doing my job, I don't have job security. I can be fired, and so should they. And trust me, they're living comfortably. So, I expect another departure at the end of the season. If not, it's going to be interesting to see who they hire next as a coach, unless they already have their sights set on someone. So,
I mean, right now you have Mike Kafka, right? Interim coach. Already making weird decisions, like starting Jameis over Russell Wilson.
I would do that. I do that anyways. I mean, you saw when Russ came in. I don't know if maybe you didn't, but if you saw Russ came in on Sunday, it's like, how are you this bad? And then we have to remember, like, he is. And Russ, career-wise, not a bad quarterback, but the past 3 years, not a great quarterback. And we knew that. And the issue I have with it as well, which is another reason why I think they should probably get rid of, Shine, is the fact that we re-signed Tommy Cutlets thinking we don't know what's going to happen. And then the 2 weeks after that, we get Jameis, and then we sign Russ to a decent contract, and then go out and draft Jackson Dart. And Russ has not played with the same efficiency and, effectiveness that even Dart did. Every time he comes in, he looks unsure of himself. He's not completing the passes. His throws look off completely. So yeah, it's long overdue to give Jameis a chance. And now with Dart out and not healthy, this is his chance to come in and see what happens. I'm all for this. Honestly, coach is gone. Let's see what kind of life comes back in the team. And Jameis is just fun to watch, man. He's a good teammate.
Yeah.
I want to see him get his shot. I'm rooting for him. Russ is a good teammate. He knows this business decisions too, but Russ has had his chance plenty of times, and he's just not getting it done. So when you're not doing your job, you get replaced.
Yeah, if I'm the Giants, I probably am not starting Jackson Dart in another game. I would just ride on just not letting Dart take any more hits. And Neighbors is out, Scadaboo's out. We know Dart is good. We know he's good enough. So just whatever, man. Like the season, like there's really for me, there's nothing more I need to see from him. Get reps. Like you want him to get reps on what and possibly get hurt. And the truth is, this is an incredibly attractive job. They have, again, Jackson Dart. They have the quarterback on a rookie contract, quarterback of the future. So he's going to be cheap for at least the next 4 years. And whoever the next coach is going to look like a genius because you're going to get Malik Neighbors back, which will automatically make Dart look better than he already does.
Yep.
But the Giants, the Joe Shine thing is a little bit of a black cloud over it because you never really know. But the Giants doing what they normally do. I don't know if it's a turning point. Like they reacted, they panicked, and they just decided to hit the big red button, and that's it. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it will be an attractive job. Steve Spagnuolo, I don't know. I'm hearing
would love
John
to see
Gruden.
Spags come back. Yeah.
I'm
No,
hearing
you
John-
can keep Gruden. I don't. Yeah.
Oh, I want Gruden.
So-
if the Bills can get Gruden and then Daboll as the offensive coordinator, shoo.
I don't know what. What's that?
Oh, good. No, good.
No,
What were
go.
you saying?
I was going to say, I don't know what.
Robert Saleh is who I want.
Yeah, I can see that too. One outlet said if the the Steelers decide to part ways with Mike Tomlin would be a great hire. I was like, yeah, no fucking shit he would be. Like, of course. I'm sure there's, at least 31 other teams out there that want him too. Like, that's
if Mike Tomlin got fired on a Monday at 4 p.m., he would have a job by 4:05.
100%. Unless he decided to retire. And even then, I'm sure someone would throw a bag at him to not retire.
Yeah.
100%. Who knows? Maybe Belichick will come back after his success at UNC.
Jesus, I hope not. He needs to stay his ass down there. So the Buffalo Bills, as we talked about earlier, lost to Corey's Miami Dolphins. Wasn't really thrilled about it. Are the Bills officially in trouble? And when I mean in trouble, I mean they're a Super Bowl favorite. Are they going to make the playoffs? Can they still win the division? Like, is it panic time for the Bills? Like how are you feeling about the Buffalo Bills right now?
Man, I mean, more than anybody else. They do this shit every single year. They drop at least 2 games to teams that are just god awful. They already did it once this season against the Falcons. No offense, Falcon fans. But this loss, I think, obviously to the Dolphins, this hurt extra bad. This was supposed to be a cakewalk game for you. This was supposed to be one where, and that's probably how they entered the match too. They were just like, whatever, it's the Dolphins. We're going to win. They're awful and they're going to fire their coach soon. And then look what happened, right? So I'm not concerned. I know you're not concerned. I think there's obviously a little bit in your mind of like, we shouldn't be dropping these games, but they do it year in and year out. Again, I'm looking at their schedule for the future. I think honestly, they're going to have a tough matchup this weekend against the Bucs.
Yeah.
Other than that, they have a redemption game ahead in December against the Pats, and then I would say maybe the Eagles right after Christmas are their tougher ones. But other than that, I see them steamrolling the Texans, see them beating the Steelers, Bengals, Jets, definitely, and Browns. So I'm not concerned. At the very least, depending on what the Pats continue to do, you're looking at a wild card, and even then, I think you're in good shape.
Look, I don't know what anybody really wants me to say. Is it over? I mean, structurally, mathematically, no, not really. Of course not, right? We're 6-3. It's November 12th. That's it. You look at the schedule. There's a bunch of winnable games, as you mentioned. The tougher ones, obviously the Pats, because the Pats look pretty good right now. Then the Eagles, who for some reason keep winning these games, and they're Super Bowl champs. So people obviously are going to overrate that. But and then so yes, we'll still make the playoffs. The division is still there if other teams decide to be exactly who we thought they were, and I'm including the Pats. But Bert, I got to admit, man, like I don't know if you feel it, I feel it. The vibes, right? The vibes are gone. That's that's what I care about. Like all the models you can run and the percentages and the strength of schedule numbers and all that bullshit. Like I watched that game on Sunday and the loss to the Dolphins, and where the Bills just looked flat, bro. Like they looked deflated. Yes, we had a bunch of injuries. We're gonna have a bunch of players come back starting this week, hopefully. Signing McCole Hardman, Gabe Davis is another receiver up, coming off of not doing anything in the trade deadline, which is a whole another thing.
Yeah.
But, you're obviously not going to win a lot of games turning the ball over 3 times. You can't have 3 picks versus Miami. That's not the team that I thought we had. That's not a Super Bowl contender. The problem is it's the same movie we keep saying every year with the Bills. Like you said, start off hot, 4-0, 5-0, beat good teams, beat the Chiefs every year. Everybody's penciling us into the AFC Championship, probably the Super Bowl. And then the loss to the Falcons, loss to the Patriots, the script flips, the running game disappears, secondary's giving up big chunk plays. Josh Allen moping around, right? Like we just paid this guy $250 million. He's trying to force it, win the game by himself, instead of trusting what got us there in the first place. So for me, where I see us right now, we're a very good team that has shown repeatedly that when the pressure's on and we actually need to execute, it's there. We find a way to step in and rake it in. Like we do it every year, like you said. We have the Chiefs win, which I guess is one thing if you really want to hold on to that. I don't hold on to that because we always do that. I need to do that in the playoffs. But you can't get dismantled by the Dolphins and lose to the Patriots and feel good. Like, so no, the season's not over. I know that's like hyperbole coming from me, but if I'm looking at the Super Bowl window, can I tell you confidently I feel as good as I did at the beginning of the year? No, like I don't think it's closed. I think it's more closed than it was before. It's cracked. It's cracking down. So
yeah, I mean there should be some doubt, right? Given the repeated history of things, and I think that this has to be the tell-all season. I feel like we say that every single year, but you have every right to be cautiously
Absolutely.
optimistic, I'll say.
Absolutely. All right, Bert, fair or foul? Jonathan Taylor is a legitimate threat to win MVP over the current quarterback favorites and MVP favorites. Drake Maye, who's leading the league in MVP. I guess Vegas is banding on him, and then Matthew Stafford right behind him.
I mean, I'm going to say foul purely because the NFL hates giving MVPs out to anybody who's not a quarterback. So personally, do I think he's a contender? Yes. He's having an historic season. He's putting up phenomenal numbers. We still have a lot of season left for a running back. What do I mean by that? There's a lot of risk to injury. If he doesn't keep up these numbers or falters even slightly, they're going to go ahead and just slap it on another quarterback. I want to see a change up this year. I want to see a different position win MVP. And since he's continuously breaking records week in, week out, I think this is the best shot we have at it. However, the reason I'm saying foul is because it's not going to happen. They're going to go with a quarterback like they always do, and I'm sticking to that.
I am also going to say foul, but here's why. It's a respectful foul. It's a foul that makes me want to go to the tape and confirm the bias because everything is screaming at us that Jonathan Taylor should win MVP. Not that I'm a big stats guy, but I wanted to look at the numbers, and if this was 2006, he'd be the runaway MVP. He leads the league in rushing yards. He has over 11,000 already. He could get 2,000. He leads the league in rushing touchdowns. He has 15. He's averaging 6 yards per carry, which is insane. And he's on pace for 2,000 plus scrimmage yards, and he could hit at least 30 touchdowns. So the last guy to win MVP that wasn't a QB, obviously we all know, Adrian Peterson in 2012, who got 13 total scores. 13. That's passing and running. And this guy's about to hit 30 in a few short weeks. So Taylor's almost doubling all that production. Again, you want to talk about inflation and all that stuff, then it is what it is. But like you said, the cold reality is that this award has been colonized by the quarterbacks, period.
Yes.
Like we can sit here and make graphics about how good Jonathan Taylor has been. But it's really the ultimate squeaky wheel gets the grease. Quarterbacks are the squeakiest wheels of all time. And look, if the Colts finish 14-3 and Jonathan Taylor hits 30 touchdowns and the two other quarterbacks kind of have pedestrian numbers the rest of the way, maybe that can do it. But for that to be a legitimate threat, I don't know if I'm taking that bet over Drake Maye or Matt Stafford right now. Matt Stafford has the story. Drake Maye is just the hot new thing, right? Like, so it would take like an epic collapse for me to think that would happen. To me, offensive player of the year is a lock. Like, I think that would be it. But hey, if Drake Maye and Matt Stafford throw a couple stinkers in there, maybe. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's foul. It's a shame. It's a shame that the MVP has kind of been taken over by the quarterbacks because guys like Jonathan Taylor will never get recognized for being great. And this kind of lends to there should be MVPs for every position, not just one singular MVP. Like, they need to create the Cy Young for quarterbacks because and then create MVPs, or maybe you restructure offensive player and defensive player and make offensive MVP, defensive MVP, something. Yeah. We need to do something because it really isn't fair if you're just going to say, yeah, Jonathan Taylor, you were awesome this year. Okay, who are the top two quarterbacks? Who has more touchdowns and who has the higher QBR, and just give them the MVP? Like, that's not fair. I'm not a fan of that. And it should be something that is at least talked about and looked at for the future, especially if Jonathan Taylor is pushing what is looking like a historic year for a running back and a skill player in a position they told us was dying. But hey, here are the Colts led by Jonathan Taylor. So, that's that. Bert, do you have a game ball you want to give out?
I mean, I got two. We're getting obviously MLB season's over. The Dodgers won. Now we're getting into the individual awards, much like we were just talking about for the NFL. So my game balls are going to the Cy Young winners, both of which, ironically enough, are the Sk names. So Skubal and Skeens, winning Cy Young's dominant performances. I absolutely love this particular award, just short of the MVP too. Because I mean, when you have a pitcher that absolutely dominates and throws heat like these two, they deserve to be recognized because baseball is 100%. As much as it's an offensive game, it is very reliant on the individual on the mound, despite who you have in your arsenal of bats. And these two individuals are phenomenal. So game ball goes to
them. My game ball is going to the Dallas Mavericks. You fired Nico Harrison. Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Much deserved. Finally needed to happen. This guy I don't know what the hell's going on with him. He nuked your franchise. Period. Like, you trade Luka Doncic. You somehow lucked up into the number 1 pick. That's not going well. I hate to put it on that guy, but there's a lot of pressure on Cooper Flagg. And the pressure that Nico Harrison, your GM, who's supposed to be responsible for building your franchise, did by conducting what has to be the worst trade of all time. Everything about it was fishy. The fact that he did it in the middle of the night, the fact that he only did it with the Lakers, there's like everything. And then that he doubled down on his arrogance, and he's probably GM'd himself out of NBA jobs for the rest of his life. But the Dallas Mavericks finally decided, you know what, man, early in the season, enough of it. You can't have the entire arena while your team at home is at the free throw line with the game on the line, chanting "Fire Nico" and distracting the players and literally costing that team games. So it's very rare that a franchise recognizes a problem and quickly and swiftly decides to cut ties and say, you know what, addition by subtraction, thanks for your service, but here's the door. Too many times organizations stick by a bad thing because they think, what's that old saying? You listen to the fans, you sit with the fans.
Yeah.
This is the rare occasion where the fans were absolutely right. And so you can't have that around your franchise. It was doomed to fail from the start.
And I mean, getting criticism immediately from it too, and everybody knew this day was going to come. Yeah.
And they gave him a shot. They gave him to see if it was working. Again, if you want to shoot him a little bit of bail, it's hard to bring a winning thing when two of your best players are out. Kyrie's out from his injury last year, still recovering from that. Anthony Davis, who's walking glass, got hurt again, and he's out for an extended period of time. And so it's unfair, but hey, them's the breaks, and you did it to yourself, Nico. So shout out to the Dallas Mavericks as a whole. You're getting the game ball for basically having the guts to do what a lot of organizations don't typically do very often, especially this early into a season. So shout out to the Dallas Mavericks. That is it for this week's episode. Please follow us at Stuff About Sports on the Instagram, at Give Us a Shot Network, www.giveusashot.network. Bert, you got anything else for the people?
No, that's it.
That is it. Brian Daboll, man, come on home, brother. Yay. The Buffalo Bills senior advisor. Senior advisor sounds like a really good gig right now for Buffalo because Joe Brady has me ready to pull my hair out. And that's ironic because I don't have any hair.